I actually got let go probably 3 months ago. My wife's pregnant. We have this great thing we're working on. Why don't we just go all in on it and just try it? I know this is going to be so hard. We're going all in on this board game.
Welcome back to another episode of Happy Hour with Hatchman. I am so pumped for today's guest, Mitchell Jasper, the co-founder of Hexeh, a hexagonal strategy board game. From what you sent me, it's more for like ADHD minds and that sort of thing when it comes to strategy. Is that right?
We found that because my business partner is suspected to have ADHD, so it's been kind of fun going down that rabbit hole with him. But we're like how I found out he had ADHD is I'm like, why do you have 15 alarms? Literally has to set an alarm for anything. Like his wife is a therapist. He literally has to set everything.
Yeah, I feel that, man. It's if I don't schedule it, if I don't put it on the calendar and have a reminder, I'm going to forget. And even then, sometimes I'll forget. I feel like we're constantly living in the moment, which isn't always a bad thing. But, sometimes you get too caught up in that moment, depending on what's going on, and you forget that you have stuff scheduled. Last week, I had an in-person podcast here in the studio that I had on the calendar. It gave me my reminder. I have a reminder for the day before, the morning of, and then an hour before, and then 15 minutes before, for myself as well as for the guest, usually when it's in person. And I still forgot. I went to the store with my kids. We're doing stuff. I was like, oh, I have a guest in 10 minutes. And so we had to run back to the house and get it all set up. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right.
At least it wasn't one of those things where you're hanging out with your kids and then you hear the doorbell and you're like, oh, who's here?
I've done that before too. I did that yesterday with my house cleaner. She shows up same day, same time every month, and I was like, "Who's here?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's the house cleaner." So, and then on top of your co-founding this strategy game, you also are the founder of Chillsynth. It's a whole music genre. Is that right?
Yeah. So everyone knows what synthwave is and kind of the 80s style, like John Carpenter, all those types of things, but a group of artists just actually started out on Twitter, started talking to each other, and then on SoundCloud and the DMs, and ended up building a Discord, and then built that community to about 2,000 people. And it just kind of the word Chillsynth kind of just is an amalgam. It's something we just started calling our music, and literally it started popping up in the Spotify charts and stuff. And it was okay, this actually has some legs behind it. So it was very interesting. It almost happened by accident. So it was really cool.
I love that, dude. Some of the best stuff I feel happens by accident, right? You just kind of fall into it. You find that there's a need for it or other people are into it. And then you just go from there, right?
I think the stuff that happened naturally, you build a general love and kind of camaraderie with other people, and building a community is super important with that. And it kind of gives people's careers legs a lot of the time if you have a community built fine, and then they're literally going to buy and get everything that you put out, and it makes marketing pretty easy.
Right. It's about finding your people. I say that a lot, especially in this digital age that we live in. I know we connected on Threads. I'm on, all the social media platforms, but depending on the type of content that you do or the stuff that you're into, you're either consuming or creating, you tend to find other like-minded people. I feel like social media is really cool in that way. Sometimes it gets a bad rap, but I really like that it brings like-minded people together no matter what it is. For you, a strategy board game situation, which I cannot wait to hear more about how that all came to be. And then a whole different style of music that is just, like you said, synth, but the chill, I'm assuming it's just probably what it sounds like, right? Chill synth, just a little bit more chill.
How many times can you use the word chill?
I know, right? So tell me a little bit more about the game Hexeh. I was telling my son about it because we were, had to get back here to do the podcast, and he was asking about my guest, and he's actually heard of the game. So he's like, "Oh, I've heard about that game." So I'd never heard of it until you sent it to me, but I'd love to learn more about kind of what kicked all that off and how you got going on that.
Honestly, that is a huge compliment from your son. If that's the coolest thing about building something is when you something organically will come back to you and be actually, I've heard of this game. It's well, how did you, I think a lot of the times, sometimes you assume there's two routes. You either think you're bigger than you actually are, or you're smaller than you actually are. And it's and it's really cool for that. So just kind of get into about Hexeh. So Hexeh is abstract strategy game. It averages half the moves of chess. So basically, my business partner and I have been chess players for over 30 years. He's won some chess tournaments and stuff. So we've kind of been pretty high on chess. And it's we got to the point where we're like, we're not going to get any better. Chess is really fun, but we want a different game that doesn't take 45 to an hour to basically play, and then you have that long, drawn-out emotional buildup where after you lose or you win, you're basically just spent and you don't want to play anymore. So Hexeh literally takes about 10 minutes to play and 2 minutes to learn. And because it's fast and actually there's a lot of action in it, that's why I think it's perfect for ADHDers, because it's a lot lower stakes. I think with ADHD, we all think everything is so permanent, and like what we found with taking this to like board game conventions and even like putting on events and having kids play it's actually teaching kids to sit with loss for a short period of time and move on, which actually probably helps with entrepreneurship too, because it's like you get punched in the teeth, you're down for a little bit, and you just keep going. You have to keep going and just keep taking action. And I coined the term light loss, like it's a lighter loss. I mean, losing sucks still, but it's like you sit with it for a little bit, it stings for a bit, but you're like, I want to get back in there and play this game.
I love that, dude. So it's like, the difference between playing a championship game in sports to just like losing in practice, right? Losing in practice, no big deal. But losing in championship game, that one hurts a little bit more. So this is kind of that same idea of like, it's all right to lose in small doses, but it still keeps it fun, right?
It's all about the reps. That's what I've realized too, is depth comes in exploration, not duration. Like with chess, people think, or like what I've found with the board game industry is everybody thinks that 3-hour games, there's this ton of depth in it. It's like, no, you're playing one scenario, but it's just taking longer.
Right.
With Hexeh, you're literally playing, I can play 4 games in the time and it would take me to play 1 game of chess. And it's like the feedback I'm getting and the instant feedback I'm getting is great for ADHDers, because it's like, I made this move, this happened. It's like, okay, I know exactly what I did wrong. It's like, okay, we're going to try this again. And it's just basically taking more at bats, and which is super fun.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, honestly, we learn from our failures, right? So the quicker you can like pick that up and, have a loss, like, all right, I know not to do that again. So it kind of helps with the next one. So that's cool, man. I like that it originated from chess, because I love chess as well. That's a game me and my son play. Like I taught him when he was really little and he just fell in love with it. But you're right. It is like something you have to set aside sometimes almost an hour for, depending on like, how deep you want to play. So I like the fact that you created kind of a quicker version of that. So you can just jump in and play, whenever you need to.
And what we found too is like my business partner has 2 kids, and they wanted something like you get that little bit of 20-minute lull before you got to, like, you get done eating breakfast or something. You have that 20 minutes before you either got to bring your kids to school or go off to work or something. We wanted to make something where you can literally play like the depth of chess, but pack it in for 10 minutes. And it's just fun to use your brain in that short sessions versus like just exhausting your mental capacity.
That's so cool, dude. So, how do you get started in this? Are you in that sort of industry, or do you have like another full-time job and this just kind of stumbled upon this? Tell me kind of how that process went down.
So I've actually worked in corporate America for 10 years. I've kind of done this, the stereotypical like, hit your 30s and then you're like, I don't want to climb the ladder.
Been there. Yep.
So I worked for a software company for 10 years and like being a business analyst and UX designer and stuff, and then left that and worked for a small grocery store chain as like a marketing person. Did that for a year and a half. And what's funny is I actually got let go probably 3 months ago. It was a wake up call. I'm like, my wife's pregnant. Like, we have this great thing we're working on. It's like, why don't we just go all in on it and just try it? Because my wife's a physician assistant, so she's pretty well off. I went to PA school for 2.5 years. Now it's your turn to kind of take the torch and go out and adventure, which is awesome to have that support and stuff too.
That's huge, man. Like a little bit of the safety net, right? Like knowing that, it's something in our minds. Like it's one thing to go all in when you have no safety net, and but it's still scary, right? Like going from a guaranteed paycheck. I, personally been there as well, going through the, climbing the corporate ladder, just trying to get to that next step, and then just hitting your wall of like, do I really want to do this the rest of my life? And so, I think that's happening more and more these days. And as a dad with kids now, like I feel like they're figuring that out a little bit faster than I did, right? Like, I I got a job like 14 years old and just always worked because that's how you make money. And then, went through that path. But like now they're realizing that it's more of that time versus money and like, what do I get out of it? What can I give? So I don't know. I feel like kids these days just have a little bit better grasp of that than maybe I did at their age. So it's kind of cool, right? To see that happen with the younger generation.
Well, everyone thinks that like the younger generation doesn't want to work, but I think they figured out that like the incentives aren't working anymore, especially you being in real estate. It's like you'd really probably realize like affording a home in that American dream is kind of fleeting now.
It's harder.
We need to rebuild that American dream. So it's like,
and that's why I do the videos that I do, right? Like I try to, show people the barrier of entry and that because they think it's hard or it's unaffordable or whatever the case might be. The news has their story as far as like what's possible. And yeah, like that's what I'm trying to negate is like, it's possible if you know the right tools, the right steps, the right products, like, and there's no wrong or right way to do it. It's just about getting into it. Right. And so that's kind of why I do the educational videos that I do. Cause I still think there's so much value in owning home. One from a monetary standpoint, but then two, like, being able to give your kids and your family a place to call home and just to like be and have their own creative space. I've spent the last, 3 months, like almost completely remodeling the house. Like, the kids were in that phase where, well, they had a room that was like right next to each other, but boy and a girl, a shared bathroom. Now that they're in their teens, that's not going over so well. So my son's like, I want to move into a different room. And so I was like, all right, let's move you downstairs and we'll, get you a new spot. And so anyway, we just kind of spent a whole bunch of time redoing their rooms. And now that they're done, like it's so cool. They feel so proud to have like their own space. Literally, he's got a friend over right now. My daughter had another, one of her friends stay the night. Like they just, it's a space they can kind of feel proud of. And so it's, I think that's important for kids to have that, Yeah,
I've actually built the last two houses. Like I think what it comes down to is literally just figuring out how much everything costs you on a monthly basis to really figure out like, and then round up on your expenses instead of down. Cause I think people tend to underestimate how much their stuff and like even like when you move into a brand new house, like all the condiments and everything you have to buy for like, cause it's all the stuff you take for granted that are in your fridge. And it's like, when we moved into a house, we took all that stuff into account and it's like, we can really actually do this. Like, and then being confident and then actually sticking to your budget and being confident, like we can afford this. And then we're going to put this much down and figuring that out. Before I met my wife, I wasn't so as good into finance as I am now and like being organized. Cause she's very type A, make a budget, make a list, like, and I'm very the dreamer and she's got to pull me back down to earth sometimes.
You balance each other out nicely, right? But you're right though. Like I think a lot of the times it's that question of budget. When people say it's unaffordable, it's like, well, that's a broad term. Like everything's different. It all comes down to whatever amount you're making monthly compared to how much you're spending monthly and where you can make some of those changes. Like I still remember, I bought my first house when I was 23 years old. I had no idea what I was doing. And I also bought a brand new construction home. It was a spec home. And so they were just, building them. Like you didn't get to pick any of the details, but it was brand new. And so I was really excited to be able to have that brand new house. But I didn't plan on all those little extra expenses. The first one I remember that shocked me the most with how expensive it was were blinds, like just simple blinds to cover all the windows, right?
You're getting out of the blinds are under $3 or $4 grand for your whole house.
And I couldn't afford that. Like again, I was 23. I was making like $12 an hour. I could barely afford this house to begin with. I went to Home Depot. I measured all the windows in my house, and there were like 17 of them. There was a lot. And I was all excited. And I went to look at the first one and I was like, it says $75 for this one blind. Is that right? Like that. I was like, and I literally couldn't do it. So I bought all of those, those like cuttable paper blinds for like $10 a pop. I bought all of those just for then. And then every paycheck I set aside money to buy one more blind until it took me like a year just to put blinds on my house.
Even if you can afford blinds, you still do that anyway. So like, what is the essential rooms I need to put blinds in? Okay,
right,
my bedroom and my living room. And it's like, okay,
because it was a spec home, like I was like this close to my next door neighbor, right? I'm just like, okay, if I don't have window blinds and he doesn't have window blinds, like we're just like, what's up, bro? Like we're just right here. So it was, yeah, just one of those little things of like you don't realize. And so now that's the type of stuff I try to like educate on, is like, make sure you've got some stuff set aside. That's why it's really important, like the money you spend out of pocket to purchase the house, you've got a little bit saved up, especially if it's a new build, because on top of that, then you have an entire blank slate for a backyard, and landscaping is not cheap to put in, even grass or sod, whatever you want to do. I mean, that's a whole nother expense in itself. So you got to, I feel like not enough people just look far enough into the future to plan for those types of things. And I'm guilty of it. That's why I'm such a big believer in teaching it now, because I had to learn a lot of things the hard way. But it really is just, thinking a few steps ahead, a few years ahead, and just realizing what you can do, and then just putting little actions into place until you get there.
Well, it's just like you don't have to do everything up front too. Like, for example, I moved into a new house in August, and we're like, we want to put new rock and everything, and so we planted a bunch of like plants for your house are expensive, like lilac and all that stuff. It's because everything costs money to transport it to like the place, and it's like, oh, I'm like, I just paid $160 for 2 plants. It's like, what the hell?
Right. That may or may not make it. I'm like the anti-green thumb. If I have anything that's living plant-wise, it's not going to last. I even killed a cactus. Like those are supposed to be the most basic plants to take care of. And
you're in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I'm in Arizona.
So you don't really have much. It's mainly like I actually lived in California the last 2.5 years. So it's like, I think it's pretty similar, Arizona, California, like landscaping. It's literally like you have no grass. It's literally all plants and landscaping. So, and it's
just rocks, a couple bushes, some trees. It's, they're on a little drip system, and, that's all we got. Nothing. And then my backyard, I wanted to make sure I had nothing alive. Like I did all pavers, did a pool, like, did all that stuff, fake grass. I was like, I don't want anything alive in my backyard because I will kill it.
Hey, your kids are still alive, so you got that.
Hey, right? The kids are still making it, so that's good. So how you feeling about becoming a new dad? How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
So I'm 35.
Oh, 35. Okay, yeah.
How old are you?
I am 41.
So we're not too far off.
Not too far off.
But you had kids earlier than I am.
I did, yeah. I got married young, and I started pretty young.
I think that's the one thing I've heard about, like, older people that have kids, like, in their late 30s or mid-30s. Just, like, I wish I would have had them at, like, 25. So I can actually, like, do more things.
No, I don't think there's any wrong or right way, I had no idea what I was doing in the beginning. And to be fair, like, I wasn't that present in their lives at that time frame. Like, I'm divorced now, so my ex-wife was mostly, the one taking care of when they were younger, and then we had them in daycare. But like, those were my hustle years, right? That was when I was trying to climb the corporate ladder. That's when I had just gotten into my career. And so like, I really wasn't home a lot for their childhood, which is, that's tough, right? Like I really didn't get to know them a whole lot until these most recent few years. And so it depends on the trade-off, right? Because it goes like, depending on what you've done so far to get to where you're at, like I wish I would have been able to have a little bit more time in the house with them to see those years. Luckily, I have that now because I worked hard during those years, and so now I have the availability to be very flexible with my schedule, to spend vacations with them, with summers. But like literally up until just this past vacation that we had together, like the kids told me, they're like, Dad, it was so great to like have you be a part of the vacation and not on your phone and on the laptop the entire time. So like that's the stuff that they kind of remembered. And like again at 41, I'm barely able to like finally do that now. So it depends on the trade-off, right? Like it's interesting.
I think the thing I'm like, the recovery after giving birth, I think that's the stuff that's kind of just like will test me the most. I think I've wanted kids for a long time, so it's like nice to finally fulfill that lifelong dream of like having like a family.
That's really cool, man.
So it's going to be super fun. Like it's like the anxious doing something you've never done before, and that's, I think, the biggest thing is like, this is so foreign that I have to like figure it out. But I think after a couple months, you'll kind of just get in the groove, and then things will change, and then you got to learn, and then kind of. It's a lot like entrepreneurship a little bit, honestly. Like your business grows, and you have to learn a bunch of new skills, and then your business grows more, and then you got to learn more skills. So it's like, I think I'm most excited for is to see what type of person I become with being a dad, and kind of having more of that accountability, I think, is the biggest thing for me too. She's always watching and realizing that. And it's like, I have to be better so she picks the better points of me up, and like that.
That's a really good way of looking at it, man. Like you really hit it on the head, right? Like we always think about how we can try to like, influence or what we can say or do to, help our kids find the right path or grow. But like one thing my parents taught me, because I'm the firstborn in my family. I've got 3 siblings. I remember when I first became a parent and like having that realization, right, of like being around the same age that my dad and my mom were when they were raising me. I'm just like, they didn't know what the hell they were doing. Like they were just making this up as they go along. There's no script for this. Like, and one thing my mom told me that really sticks with me even today is she's like, well, you came as you are. Like you kids came exactly who you are. And so I think that's, by you realizing that as just like, they're going to just watch what you do. They're going to see it all. Like it really doesn't matter. Like, of course you can give some sort of influence to them, but it really depends on your actions and kind of what they see. That's what kids pay attention to because they are who they are. And so I love that you already have that mindset of like, I'm excited to see what this makes me, how this helps me. Cause that's really what it is, man. Like, and you having a daughter first too, bro. Like I had my son first, and it is different. Like I have 2 younger sisters, and like we're very spread apart in age. Like I'm 10 years older than one of my sisters and 14 years older than the other.
Oh, wow.
So we had different parents, bro. Like same mom and dad, but different people because my dad had grown so different, and he was so hard on me and my brother because we're the boys, and it's that generation, right? And so like girls having daughters changes you as a man. Like I can say that. Like when my daughter was born, it was like, oh, I get it. This is different. We treat she gets treated much different than my son. And now that gap is closing. But like I remember when she was first born, I was like, oh yeah, no, the rules are different. It'll change you, dude, in a good way. Like it makes you more compassionate. Like it's such a fun journey. So you've seen the videos with my daughter. Like I learn so much from her, and she's just such a blast to hang out with. And it's an honor and a privilege, man.
She asks very interesting questions, like very philosophical questions. And it's like, you're 11 years old.
I know. And that's what everybody says. I'm like, no joke. Both my kids are just, they're so emotionally intelligent and just, yeah, very just seekers of knowledge. Like they love learning new things. Like, we gave them phones and access to technology really early in life, and that was kind of like a controversial thing back then. And I can see the pros and cons to it, right? Like if anytime you're consuming too much of anything, it's all about that balance, right? So I think we did a good job of just like teaching them, yeah, like there's knowledge out there, there's stuff out there, there's things you're gonna see, like, but you have accountability and you have choice in all of that. So let's just make sure we're using our time and resources and putting our mind to the right things. So, I think they do use it for a lot of good and just to help them better their lives rather than just, being stuck behind a screen and scrolling reels all day long, which even a lot of adults do that.
But there's periods of time where you realize like you're probably creating more. And that's when I don't consume reels and stuff anymore. Is like literally I'm putting content on, I'm writing stuff, and it's like, that's the way it's meant to be, honestly, a lot of the time. Is like, I think you should create 70%, consume 30%.
I like that rule. We're creators, I think, as human beings by nature, right? Like we like to create things. It's kind of what gives us purpose. It gives us value. But it's the time and place, right? Like there's other times when you need to learn to be able to do something so that you can go back out and do it. And then it's just that back and forth balance. So I like the 70-30 rule. That's a pretty good one.
Have you read the Rick Rubin book, The Art of Creator?
No. All right. I got to add that to the list.
So it's basically saying that, like you said, that's a good thing. Like you said, us by nature, we're all creators. And I think creativity is looked at very differently. I think from a lot of like, if you look at like an accountant, how an accountant looks at creativity is completely different. Or they probably don't think they're creative, but it's like you're minutiaing numbers and everything and putting them in different ways and being creative in that sense. And so it's like, I think everyone is creative, but everyone thinks creativity is like the artistic side of creativity. Creativity is basically just taking stuff that's in your head and putting it in the physical world and baking it.
Dude, I'm so glad you said that. Like, because I always considered myself more of an analytical person, right? Like, I do love numbers. That's how I got into finance, how I got into mortgage. Like, I love that type of stuff. And so I also never viewed myself as creative. I was like, oh yeah, I leave that up. That's why I get so many like tattoos. Like, I was like, I leave that up to the artist, to the creative type. See, right? Like, I didn't view myself that way, but you're right. Like in the reading and the stuff that I've done, like I was like, I am creative just in other ways, right? Like I can't, make beautiful art like I have all over my arms and do that type of stuff. I have a terrible voice. I can't sing. But there are other things I am creative. I'm really good at creating, systems. I wrote a book on, some of the stuff that I teach around social media lead generation for mortgage and real estate professionals. Like it's that taking the thought and putting it into action and making something. That is creativity. And so it was just, it's reshaping that in your mind and also in the way that you talk to yourself. I'm still working on getting better at saying, I'm not good at this. It's like, well, I'm working on getting better at this.
Because it's foreign to me and I've never done this versus like I suck at it.
Right.
I think that's the thing about being a parent too, is like, you don't suck at it. It's just the fact that you've never done it. So it's like, it's going to take time. And I think the self-talk for ADHDers is, I think, the worst, and that shame cycle that we put ourselves in is the worst thing, because it's like we're expecting to be good at everything because we've had so many hyper focuses that it's like when we find something that we absolutely are terrible at, it's like, no, give yourself the grace to try, fail, keep doing it, keep getting better at it, because one day something's going to click and it's going to be like, oh, I'm actually good at this now. Probably be about a month, just because considering putting the 10 hours a day into the hyper focuses.
And that's true with anything in life, if you think about it, right? Like I read a really cool book. I don't know if you've read it. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics. It's an older book, but it talks about that mindset of just learning stuff, and that as humans, we're goal-striving individuals, right? And so when we get depressed or when we get anxiety, it's because we lose sight of what that goal is, or we don't know what it is. And so it talks about the simple action of learning to tie your shoes for the first time, right? Like, again, as a parent, seeing that in my kids, and then even the first time I tried to tie my shoes, it's hard. Right? Think about anything that you tried new for the first time. I bring this one up a lot, is driving. The first time you tried to drive a car, especially if you're like me and had to drive a stick shift first, like it was complicated, and you had to put a lot of time and mental capacity into learning how to do that skill. And now it's second nature because we've done it so often. And so that's like with anything in life, no matter what you're trying to learn, it's probably going to be a little bit hard, and it might be a little bit difficult to learn at first. Or you might notice that you have a natural talent towards it, and so you might pick it up a little bit faster than other people, and so you tend to just go towards those things. But it's that time and effort of just learning the skill and then continuously practicing it until you get better. Because the fact is, you are going to suck the first time you try something new, and that's okay. That's part of the process. We get better by doing.
And that's what we found with Hexeh too, because for an example, so we have this girl on our team, her name is Sean. So we hosted our first Hexeh League. Like, Sean's worked with my business partner for previously, probably 8 years ago. She became really good friends with my business partner, and then she ended up coming to League, like thinking, oh, I'm just going to go to the first one, and ended up basically being a Hexeh super fan. And she literally lost every match in Hexeh League, but she enjoyed herself because she was learning something every match. And it was like Richie and I kept looking at her and being like, there's something here. You have to, like, it's one of those things where you sense somebody's energy and like the energy they're bringing, and it's like, we can't afford to not bring her on, because this energy she has is contagious. And it's like, the fact that she literally hasn't won a match, and she literally just keeps trying. And then she ended up beating me in one of the last league nights. And it was the coolest reaction I've ever seen, like with Hexeh. And it was just like, this is amazing.
That is so cool, man.
And it's been cool to like see like how people like dive into this game, and like taking it and watching kids and like 14-year-old girls, for example, like dive into this game. And it's just like, I don't know. It's almost like having a baby and watching it like with your son and daughter. It's like having it take shape and doing its own thing, and like people interacting with it, and it's like this is super cool.
That's awesome, man. So how do I get this game? Is it available on like Amazon, or where do you purchase it
So
from?
we actually just did it. We just sold out of our previous our first run of Hexeh. So like
Dude, congrats.
we're working on the app right now for Hexeh. So we actually launched the beta tomorrow. Hopefully, like we've hit some kind of snags with Apple and Android where like they've wouldn't let us list it on the App Store just because of some requirements and stuff. So we've finally pushed through that. So fingers crossed, tomorrow's the beta launch, so we can finally kind of get that rolling. Like we've kind of been sitting on it. So we were planning on launching in May, and it's been just a month basically just to kind of wait and sit for Apple to approve stuff. So this is exciting.
No, I'm excited, and it'll be a good time for this. So I can post the links and stuff up here. I'll have them, you can send them to me, and we'll get them put on here for the videos and the content. So create some links for people to download it and whatnot. So I'm definitely going to check it out, man. Like I said, my son's already heard of it. So
How did your son actually hear about it? If you don't mind me asking.
I don't know. He just said, I think I've heard of it. So he said, I think I've heard of that game. So I need to explore more with him now that we've chatted and stuff. I can show it to him. So probably something on social media, right? Like both my kids are, they've got all the social media accounts. Both of them have their own YouTube channels where they do different, forms of creation, and it's constantly changing. And that's the stuff I try to promote is like, yeah, let's, share the stuff that you like. So my daughter does some of the makeup tutorials, and then she does a lot of like daily vlogs because we travel quite a bit, and so she likes to just share what's going on. But she just has such fascinating insights. I was like, you got to record more of this stuff. So and she loves doing it. She loves being me and her did a whole podcast, just the two of us together, because I had a guest cancel last minute. I was like, hey, you want to jump on a podcast with me? And she's like, totally. And so she has no fear, man. These kids, like they've been through some stuff, man. We've had some crazy trauma in the last few years in this house, but they're just doing great. And so I'm a lucky man, dude. I got really lucky with these kids. I don't know what I did to deserve such awesome kiddos, but
That's awesome. Like, isn't it like awesome to see how fearless your daughter is, and just being like, I wish I was that fearless at 11.
oh man, yeah. It is the wildest feeling. Again, I've built businesses, I've done some cool things in my career, but just nothing tops like seeing your children like succeed and do well and just become who they are, right? Like, I'm a big believer of that now as well. It's just like, they came as they are, and now they're just finding that confidence and that that self-respect, which is something I struggled with a lot at their ages, and so it's cool to see them like have that. It's just the best feeling ever. I wanted to ask you a question about your, I'm ADHD as well. I've never been like officially diagnosed. I grew up in a real small town where we didn't really have the diagnoses, but I had friends that were, later on diagnosed in life. So is that something you were diagnosed with early on, or you just kind of figured it out?
So I've actually been diagnosed since I was 9 years old. Like my parents, I think, read some books, and then I'm lucky to have like such a great like pediatrician that specializes in ADHD. So he helped me kind of, but knowing that you have ADHD and then dealing with ADHD are two different kind of animals. That it's like, it's nice to know what the rhyme to the reason is, but it's like, it took me, to be honest, 33, I'm 35. It took me until I was 33 years old to fully embrace, like, tell people I have ADHD and actually embrace it. And I think that's what I'm trying to do with a lot of the stuff on Threads is just, like you said, people as they are. And it's like owning ADHD has been the most freeing thing for me as an entrepreneur, like a person and everything, because it's like, it's just like, it's hard to explain. Like, go from like being ashamed of how you're wired and then go to be like, this is just an operating system. It's not something wrong with me. It's not something like that makes me less, and I don't have to justify my existence. Because I think I've realized too is like the reason why a lot of us ADHDers work so hard is basically to justify our existence. Like, hey, we're normal. Like, if I'm so exceptional at something, maybe they'll forget that I'm I have ADHD or a learning disability or something. Like I'm just wired differently. I'm meant for entrepreneurship because of all the ever changing landscapes. And it's like, and I think going through corporate American stuff, I figured it out that it's like I think you sense it. It's just how can I put myself in a scenario, opportunity, or environment to fully embrace who I am.
I love that, man. Because so being diagnosed at 9, like, it's, I don't know if you can think back to that time frame, but did you feel like, when you got the label, did it come off as negative? Like you said, yeah, I mean, it took you till 33 before you could embrace it and feel good about it. Do you think it because there was some sort of like shame in thinking it was a negative thing?
I think what gives us like trauma is probably traditional schooling and like basically being stacked up against other kids educationally and being like, oh, you're behind. And it's like, so that's when it starts. And then it's like, because I think, as you know, we can sense emotional shifts and energy and all that stuff. So like when the subtleness and like when somebody's disappointed in you or they don't like you and stuff, and you feel that, and it's like we feel that more intensely. And it's like, I think we almost mentally create our own trauma from like what we sense versus what actually is happening.
No, I agree with that. Absolutely.
We're interpreting things on so many different levels that it's like, I think that's too, like what a lot of people will say is like, you're being too much or you're being too sensitive. And it's like, no, I'm actually sensing, like I've posted about this where like ADHDers see things in 4 dimensions, and the fourth dimension is like emotion and energy and like just like energy inside a room of feeling like the tension and everything. And it's like, no, we just feel things so intensely. It's like, and it's coming off that way. And it's like, we're not too much. We literally just feel things differently than you are.
If you knew what the input was, the output is pretty chill compared to what's coming at us, right? Because we can feel everything happening all at once. Like you mentioned, the tiny little facial expressions, the energy that someone's putting out, the disappointment, I remember like first sharing a genuine thought and having a bunch of people like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, then you feel bad for feeling and thinking what you thought. And so then you like adjust to meet them rather than just being who you truly are.
And I think at 33, I realized like the misunderstanding of having ADHD is way less exhausting than being somebody I'm not and performing and having people like kind of shifting who you are to get people so they'll tolerate you. It's like, no, if you don't like me, I don't need that energy in my life. I want to go like, I need to find people that want me to do well and actually don't make me feel bad for how I actually think and operate.
Finding your people, brother. That's what it's all about. I love that because, I think a lot of us do deal with that is that like changing to meet other people's expectations or what we think that they might need rather than being our true, genuine self and not feeling bad about it. And so that is something that a lot of ADHDers like have, right? I don't know if it's because of the label. Like, again, I didn't get the label till later on in life. And at that point I had already like gone through that journey of just being happy with who I was, but still knowing that I'm trying to figure it out. And so it's a difficult thing to explain unless you've like lived it, because everything's on the other side of that self-acceptance. Like once you can just truly embrace who you are because of just because deep in your soul and in your gut that's the difference between right and wrong, just, I don't know how to explain it really well, but it's knowing who you are is such a big part of it to take that next chapter in life to figure out what it is that you want.
I think it's like figuring out who you are is you actually start listening to who your soul actually is. And like, cause your soul, like you actually, like we all feel this pull in some weird direction. I don't know if it's like divine intervention or anything, but it's like, you feel like I'm starting to look at everything as like part of the journey. Like if, like, for example, I got let go from a job, but I'm like, it's making room for something better. I know it's coming, but it's just, it's almost like when you cut people out of your life that don't serve you very well and you sit in that lonely period. It's kind of like that transitional period of like, okay, I lost my job, but I feel like something's coming. I just have to like be patient and sit with it. And it's like, in that like transitional period. But I know when I come out on the other side, looking back, it's gonna be just amazing.
No, it is, man. Like there's a lot of science behind that type of stuff right there. Like that optimistic mindset of just knowing, like even when something bad happens, because not everybody has this, man. Like it's so great talking to you that you almost immediately had that mindset of like, oh shit, I lost my job. Like a lot of people think that's like it, right? They go through depression. They're go into a frantic of trying to apply for new jobs or whatever. But you're just like, something better is coming because of this. Like that mindset is. Like that's so cool, man. Like that's something that not everybody has. So I just want to, congratulate you on having it that way, because you're right. It will work out for you. It is going to create something great. And then when you do look back on it, you'll be like, this has led me to this moment. And then it's just I talked about this the other day on one of my podcasts, is like, I never want to look back and be like, those were the glory years, right? Like this is when my life was good and now it sucks because of this, and that, you're putting blame on things that have already happened. And so when you are constantly just looking forward, even the bad stuff makes sense because it led you to where you're at today. It's why I have zero regrets in life. Like, there's obviously things I wish I would have done better, but I know that I did the best I could when I was in that moment, because I only had the information that I had at the time and I was doing everything I could, and it's led me to where I'm at today. And that gives me so much hope and excitement for the future, regardless of what happens, right? Like, and it's just such a fun journey, brother. Like that's what life's all about.
Well, I've heard like life only makes sense in reverse. Like I think that's really interesting, because it's like, I don't know. It's weird to think about if fate exists or any of that stuff, because it's like there's too many like random occurrences to get me to where I am now, and it's like, is this already pre-planned, or is this like just making stuff as I go? Because it's like I couldn't plan my life out any better than what it's turned out to be.
I agree, man. It's too many variables, right? My son likes to play Dungeons and Dragons. Like him and his friends have a little club, and it's
when did D&D get so mainstream? Because so we're working on a partnership with it's a local game shop. We actually just like did an event at a local game shop. It's called Wild Wolf. They literally built their whole business model around D&D. Like they have like the tables with like the TVs in it and like the interactive it's like I've known D&D like in the 80s and the 90s when it was like very underground, like now it's so mainstream, and I'm like talking to so many people that play D&D. Like I didn't realize this, and like Magic the Gathering is another big thing that I didn't realize how big. It's just like holy.
Dude, I used to make fun of those kids that played that games when I was in school, right? Because it wasn't mainstream. Like that was what the nerds did, man. So like, and now like having a son, like it's so cool because I've actually like taken time to understand it. I think a lot of it was just people that didn't understand it didn't want to learn about it, because it had a stigma or whatever it was, right? For whatever reason, the prejudices we have growing up. But like once you take time to understand it, I was like, this is really freaking cool. Like I consider myself to be kind of a smart person, but like the stuff that they do in that game, like, and it started just as an after school thing with him and some friends and like a teacher that was doing it. But I was just like, this is really cool. Like wherever imagination takes you and you can turn it into anything you want. Like it's just, I don't know. I was fascinated by it once I actually took the time to learn about it.
It's so interesting. Like it's literally a evolving live video game where you basically build a character and then you can like level your character up, and it's just like, but the thing is, you're basically building everything in a vacuum where it's like, hey, if we want to build this in space, we can. And it's just like, before I got into the board game industry, I know you asked me earlier, so I didn't answer that. So what's funny is I was in the music industry for a while. Like I've kind of done but before Hexeh, I had no knowledge I was not involved in the board game industry at all. And it's like, but I feel like if you grasp business really well, it's really easy to kind of learn an industry and learn the nuances faster. And then just like, because everything that comes down to a system or a packaging or like basically a nuance that you have to figure out. And then, but the foundation, I think if you have a great foundation for business, like you can basically be successful in any industry. Like, I mean, with real estate, there's so many regulations and stuff.
And it's changing all the time. I think that's part of the ADHD thing too, though, right? I think we do a really good job of being able to like zoom out and see the entire picture of things. And so, like you said, like, you know, business is really just systems. It's putting a certain things into place and it's just all working together. Like I noticed that even early on with social media with a lot of the, you know, like the gurus trying to like sell products or sell certain things. I'm like, they all do the exact same thing. It's just they, you know, for whatever their little niche is, like they're all doing the same thing.
Basically, it's like the flavor, like, oh, Alex Hormozy is strawberry ice cream, and it's like Dan Martell is vanilla ice cream, and it's like, it's all ice cream at the end of the day, but it's just the application of how these guys are applying it.
The playbook is out there for anybody that wants to get to, like, if you're trying to achieve like what Hormozy has achieved or what, you know, Gary Vee, right? Like they give all of their stuff away for free. Like they tell you exactly how they do it. It's just they work really hard at it. And so it's like, here, if you're willing to put in the amount of work, if you can do the exact same thing. That's why I love Gary Vee so much. Like the first time I heard him on social media, I was just like, this guy is saying what I'm thinking and he's not afraid. Like, cause I had just started dabbling in social media content creation, but I was like, again, being in the real estate and the mortgage world, I was being very careful about the stuff that I said because I didn't want to offend anybody. And I know that there's a million different variables and I didn't want to like break any rules or laws. And this guy was just like spitting it off. And I was just like, how does he do that? Like, how is that allowed? Like, first of all, and then it was just, anyway.
How is it allowed that he can drop 10 F-bombs in one video?
Right. I know. Right. I was like, that's how I talk, but I wouldn't do that to the camera. Like I used to wear a suit and tie every day, man. Like everything really is just on that other side of like self-acceptance, knowing who you are, what you want to do, and then just getting after it. And because there are so many people that have kind of paved the way, like you literally just have to do what they did to achieve the same results for yourself, if that's what you want. And you can plug any sort of anything into that, like board games, real estate, like literally anything. The playbook is out there. You just have to follow it and do it.
Yeah. And it's like, what's funny is I probably did the stereotypical hyper-focused on real estate. I read every Grant Cardone video or book, went down the Grant Cardone rabbit hole, and it was like, and then I went down the Cody Sanchez buying a small business rabbit hole of like just acquiring everything. And it's like I looked at like small business deals and stuff, and I looked at real estate deals, but it's like maybe I'll use that knowledge someday. But like,
and I find with something that like, yeah, I think it's that initial dopamine hit of like, oh, this sounds fun, and then like the more you get into it, like I'll find myself going through certain things and being like, I don't want to do that. Like that doesn't sound like something I want to do. So, and then I just stop and I find something else, and it's definitely part of the ADHD, but I also think that's listening to myself and realizing once I've learned all I can or learned enough about the subject to know that it's not me. And I think there's a lot of value in that because going through that process, like I got no problem like just quitting something halfway through if I'm not feeling it anymore. And a lot of people would call that either being lazy or, you know, jumping from the next shiny thing to the other. There's all kinds of labels, but I'm like, no, like I know what I'm about, and I learned enough about this to realize this isn't for me, so I'm going to go do something else.
I think the hardest thing for ADHDers is to go all in on something. And what's funny is that's what I did with Hexeh. Like, what was funny is, like, I've done YouTube stuff with my business partner. Like, we literally grew a channel to like 5,000 subscribers and stuff. And then what's funny is I was in California, and we were meeting about our YouTube channels because we did a chess YouTube channel where we'd like do a podcast and we'd play different people in chess. And what was funny is just like my father-in-law was a police chief, so we interviewed him, and the hypothesis was like, what is different specialties? How good are they at chess? Like, we wanted to prove that it's not just for intelligent people or like the PhD level people that we think chess is. What's funny is I was having a meeting for like my other businesses with my business partner, and he brings up, he's like, I've been working on this game for a year. I'm like, I've like laughed my ass off because like it was my soul vibrating. I like to tell people just because I aligned with the game so much. And he had it probably about 85% done. And that's how him and I usually work is like I'll bring an idea and then he'll flush it out and we'll flush it and like run with it. But I'm like, I looked at him, I go, we're going all in on this board game. Like, I know this is going to be so hard to go all in because we already have other stuff. Like, I put my music stuff on hold. Like, I basically stopped marketing my music stuff. I still make music periodically, but it's more like a passion now. But like, we paused all our YouTube stuff and we're like, we're going all in on Hexeh. So it's cool to see kind of where we've come, and we've only been in business for about a year, but we've been working on the game for about 4. But I like to tell ADHDers, like, so imagine you hyper focusing on like how intense and like how concentrated you are during your hyper focuses. But imagine going all in and actually taking all that hyper focus energy and putting it on one thing. Like, it's like taking a magnifying glass and trying to set a piece of paper on fire. But it's like, you can light that piece of paper on fire a lot faster if you focus like you like burning ants is the thing that we used to do.
Yeah, I did that too. There's so much value in so much of what you said. First of all, like, you found somebody that you like instantly connected with, right? And now you kind of like feed off of each other, and it allowed you to go all in. And part of that is that trust in yourself as well as in your friend, business partner, whoever, right? That you aligned with so much because you're like, yeah, this is really cool. So I think that's the other part of it, right? Like, we can only go so far alone. And I've always been such a massively independent person that I didn't like to, I'm in that weird, like, I can be extroverted when I need to be, but at my core, I think I'm more introverted. Like, I really do just enjoy my time by myself alone. But when you do find the right people, and a lot of it is that energy, right? Like, because you can sense the energy in the other person, you can see their excitement, and then you feel like you can add some value by adding to it. And then it's just this back and forth, and you can take it somewhere where he wouldn't have been able to do that on his own, or you on your own. You can bring it this new life because you're doing it together. So I think we forget that sometimes as, either ADHD or independent individuals, is we are better together. We're meant to be with other people and finding those like-minded individuals to create something entirely new. So dude, I'm excited for your journey, dude. And I can't wait to like check this game out. Definitely send me the links and stuff so I can get it downloaded. And but there is a physical game copy as well that's just currently sold out.
So I'm actually sitting next to. So this is
I want to see it, man. I want to see this thing.
This is our first one. So this board is a one of one. It's kind of a one-off that we did in this color. We literally did. This is the only one that exists. But what's cool? So this was actually our first run of Hexeh sets. So what's cool is it actually snaps together.
Oh, no way! That's cool.
The one that we actually sell is like a neoprene mat, where it folds up, and it's beautiful too. It's purple and has basically the hexagon. Do you want me to explain the pieces actually?
Yeah, please do. No, I want to learn all about this, dude. This looks legit.
First piece I'll mention is you have the guards. So guards are basically like pawns. They can move one space any direction. But the kicker is they actually they can retreat. So that's kind of the thing we want to do. I don't like saying that we try to improve on chess, but we want to just do something fun
something different.
We like the term comes from chess fundamentals.
I love it. There we go.
It can attack going forward left, and forward right.
Okay.
The next is the Traveler. The Traveler travels on color paths. So it's basically these, and if you wanted to right off the bat, you could literally attack this piece.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's what's really fun about Hexeh is if you wanted to go full board, just super aggressive, super action, you can do it right off the bat. With chess, you have to do 2-3 moves to kind of develop like the middle.
You don't got to get your pawns out of the way. You can just go straight to the attack.
Exactly. So if you're here, you can also travel here, but it has to be basically in one straight line and one. But if you wanted to go like here, you could.
In one move?
Yep. So you basically have to travel in a straight line. So another cool specialty about this piece, you can shift to a different color. That's a color shift. So now you're actually attacking on the yellow. If you had a guard there, you could actually, your color shift is an attack.
You could take out the guard with your Traveler.
So any move where the Traveler moves is basically an attack.
That's really cool, man. Okay.
Next one is a Prowler. So Prowler moves 2 spaces in any direction. So the path actually has to be clear. So you have to basically go here or here. So basically on the first turn, the Prowler is trapped. So you have to basically the guards out of the way for it to move. This is the maverick piece of Hexeh, basically. It's called the wizard. So the wizard travels in diagonals. So it basically travels. The only place it can't travel is basically in a straight line forward. The kicker is the wizard can actually deflect or bounce off the A and the G file. So, for example, if I wanted to attack this piece, I could.
Because it's a diagonal move still. Just
so we'll say if the wizard was there, the wizard can go here. Wizard can go here. It can also bounce off this wall right here.
So it can go all the way to the edge and bounce off. Okay.
But it can travel as far or as short as it wants. So if it's on here, it can go here. Next, so lastly is the Empress. So this is basically like your king equivalent. And it moves one space in any direction. But the objective of Hexeh is to basically take the Empress. But the kicker of Hexeh is there's no checks. So literally, I'll kind of build kind of a scenario. If you don't see this threat here and you move like this, the game's over. So basically, it's extremely cutthroat. Like if you make one wrong move a lot of the times, when it comes to the Empress, it's literally going to be game over.
Once you take out the Empress, that's it.
Yep. So last, basically, if you get the guard, so we call where the Empress sit, we call them thrones. So if you walk your guard all the way to your enemy's throne, you can actually revive a lost piece that you've lost in the game. So if you had you lost this piece and you walked your guard all the way there, you could literally basically revive this back to the board.
Almost like checkers when you get when you make the king, right?
And I think what's really cool, what we found too, is that we just get people coming up asking us what we're playing at like breweries and stuff.
No, it looks badass. Like it looks really cool just by itself. The pieces, and those are all just 3D printed, that one?
Yep, they're all 3D printed. That's the fun part about what we've done in the game industry is like you have to get super creative. We're like, because we were literally trying to do a physical product when the tariffs hit, and it was like the whole stuff with China, and it was just like, okay, we can get, like we have one with a play mat. It's a silicone play mat or a neoprene mat, but we actually had our buddy CAD all this and then 3D print the boards and stuff. Like we did a pre-sale of 15 to start out, which was these 3D printed boards, just kind of like founder set, trying to just get something out there into the market and just figure out, get feedback. But yeah, we finalized the game about a year and a half ago. So it's been kind of like a work in progress, but now we're at the point where we can start making the product better. And I think that's what a lot of the entrepreneurs like don't do is they don't just make a crappy version of like make a minimal viable product, get it out there, get feedback. It's so painful to put something out there that you've worked so hard on, but it's so worth it because it's going to mold itself into what something that actually somebody's going to buy and actually somebody wants to put on their shelf.
I think that is the difference, right? Like so many ADHDers in particular get stuck on this, I can't launch this until it's perfect. You have to be okay with launching the Gen 1, the basic, the shitty version, right? Like the stuff that's, and I think about that in my own progression with like even just some of the stuff that I've done, like trying to launch my first, like doing social media for me. Like it was very, very tricky. And now I have a great system because you just start. You just got to start bad, start ugly, start however, wait for feedback. You'll do so much better once you just release it, see what the actual need is, and then improve upon that. So, I mean, you dropped so many like words of wisdom right there for just business owners in general. Like, we just had to get it out there. Like, it's all about that first version. It almost doesn't even matter. You got to test the concept before you try to perfect it. Because once you have a concept, then you can change it and build upon it based on the need and the perception, right?
I'm a man of mantras. Like I just like it's something I like. It's done is better than perfect.
Amen.
If it's 80% as good as you can do, put it out. Just because that 20% subtlety in those little things, nobody's gonna give a crap about it. It's like only because you're so close to it, you're the only ones being like, well, I didn't phrase that word good enough, or like. like something was missing, like a contrast in that picture, and it's like, who cares? Like
Sometimes you don't have to have any of it built. Like I had an idea that I wanted to do coaching for a little bit. I hadn't built any courses. I hadn't done anything yet. I just threw some stuff out there to see if anybody would be interested. Turns out quite a few people were. So I'm like, okay, now that I know that I have a need, I can go ahead and build the courses. Like, because imagine if I had spent 2 to 3 months building everything and then nobody cared. Like that would have been such a waste of time. So you have to start with like finding what people care about first and then build it after. In the mortgage company where I'm at right now, we're really big innovators in this space, and we all talk about how we're all building the rocket, or we're all building the plane while it's in flight. Like we're still building the plane while it's flying. Like that's how we're running the business. And a lot of people don't agree with that mentality, but I think that's honestly the best way to do things.
And I think business is going to change just a lot, just because I think AI is also pushing like people going, do I really want AI to take a job I don't like?
It's a very polarizing topic right now, because there are those that think it's going to either take jobs or it's going to make life worse. But I'm like, no, like I'm such a big believer in it. Like I'm like the school system, right? We're not going to go down this rabbit hole, but like my kids are getting yelled at because they're not allowed to use ChatGPT and they have like, AI trackers. I'm just like, that is so dumb. Like but we have AI, so why wouldn't we do it? And so like I'm teaching them how to use AI to properly cheat on their homework, right? It's like, here's what you do. It's about how you prompt it. Tell it that you want to misspell a few words, that you want to mess up the punctuation. You're not trying to get an A on this project. You just want to get a solid C.
The fact that you're not teaching kids AI drives me nuts.
I was like, why are we not like, that's what bugs me about school, is because they're teaching for a world that no longer exists.
Teachers are basically don't want to teach or don't want to train their replacements, but everyone at Facebook is basically training AI to replace them.
The only thing school is good at teaching is like school rewards those that are great with short-term memorization. That's all it really does. It rewards people that can learn stuff quickly, regurgitate it, and throw it back on a piece of paper. AI will take all of their jobs.
So what's funny is I'm looking 50 years in the future, and I've written about this numerous times, is like the world's going to need ADHDers and neurodivergents, because I think I've figured out what we're actually wired towards. We're wired towards meaning. We literally sniff out meaning, and that's what the world's going to need once everyone gets their jobs taken. That's why I think games are so essential too, is because they're really the last real like benchmark to tell you how you're actually doing, and like the accountability that we actually want in the real world.
It teaches problem solving, and it teaches learning, if that makes any sense. Like it teaches you to learn by failing, by doing it over and over and getting better at it.
With like traditional schooling, it's literally teaching you that a test is permanent and like it could ruin your future. And it's like, you should literally get these kids to do as many reps as possible so they just get insanely good. And it's like, I'm so tempted to, like, my wife probably doesn't see the same line with me on this, but I like want to homeschool my kids so I can teach them AI. I can teach them stuff that's going to actually help them in the real world. The school system was basically created to create factory workers. And that's what I've realized with the Rockefeller Foundation, where they like...
That's factual. Like that's history.
That's why there's 8-hour days. That's why there's bells at after every hour. That's why there's a lunch. That's why lunchrooms look that way. And it's like, and I think that's why ADHDers were so chastised, is because we don't want to be in the 8-hour, just sit in a classroom, clock in, clock out. It's like, no, we want to go out and explore, build shit, like just do cool things and explore and like
live life. And have purpose, right? Like I do think that purpose is part of it. And like, and I guess some people can connect that dot with like, a typical job. And again, it's, everyone has their own path, but like us and, ADHDers, we want something bigger than that, right? Like we're like, and I'm in a whole different chapter in my life where like, honestly, like money isn't even a motivating thing for me anymore. Like it's all about like, the time that I can get and the experiences that I get every single day, especially with my kids, like that's more important to me. And so it's like, how do I create things that can give me more time and more experience? And it's just a different way of looking at it. And trust me, my kids, every time they come home from school and they're complaining about it, I'm like, I will homeschool you right now. Like, I'll do it. Like, let's go. And they never take me up on it because they do have the social aspect of it with the friends and the thing, you know, they've got their people. So I get it. But I also don't give them shit about their grades. Like, I'm like, I don't care.
They don't. Grades don't matter. They really don't. Because it's like when you're working on a real estate deal, the person that you close the deal with is not going to be like, oh man, I'll give you a C for that. It's literally the outcome. It's like, did you close the deal or not? And that's what kind of the culture we're building at Hexeh is. I don't give a shit if it takes you 10 minutes to get something done or 3 hours. It's like, all that matters is, did you get the thing done? And did you do what you say we were going to do? That's literally it. And it's like, that's what's going to move the needle, is just taking action and just keep moving forward. Because it's like, AI is going to take everybody that's job as a task. That's literally what it is. And I think ADHDers are going to just flourish in the age of AI. And I get shit on for this and on threads all the time because people are like, I don't want AI training me from AI. I'm like, no. ADHDers and neurodivergence, we think outside the box and we think in so many different complexities that it's like, we're just, oh, AI took my job, I'm just going to pivot. And it's basically, we just are really good at pivoting.
We're really good at seeing that full picture, right? Like, and knowing that it could change at any moment. And then when it does, we're just going to change as well, right? Like, I use AI for so much of my business. And that's why I teach it to my kids so much. Cause I'm just like, look, like, I use this every single day. Like, not only do I do the real estate, I've got the mortgage, I've got the content creation, I've got marketing. Like, I've got all these different things that I do, and I can't do them all by myself. Like, I've got AI that helps manage a lot of it. I've got systems that do a lot of it. Like, I don't know how to code. I don't know how to like create things, but with AI, it can either do it or teach me enough so that I can have it do it. Like, it helps me in those areas that I'm not good at. Like, it'll literally tell you what to do. You just have to ask it the right questions. And so it's just, yeah, like, that's why I tell my kids to use it all the time. I'm like, because I look at the progression of just in the short amount of time that we've had it and what's currently possible. Imagine 5 to 10 years from now where we're going to be. Like, that's exciting because we're all using it in different ways. And so it's just like, you know, how are you gonna use it to help, you know, better your life and better those people around you? Like, I'm using it to help simplify things, like to help the things I'm not good at. Like, I'm not good at constantly following up with people because ADHD. So I
don't see you on a daily basis. You don't exist to me.
Right, exactly. Like, I don't do it on purpose. I'm not trying to be purposely, you know, not following up with you. Not because I don't care. Like, I care deeply. It's just I get caught up. And so I created a system that will do a lot of follow-up for me. And yeah, a lot of it is AI that looks like me, sounds like me, but I did train it. And so it makes the process smoother and simpler because that's what more people are craving right now. We want access to things faster and quicker and easier than ever before. And so the people that are going to win are those that can make it quick and easy and fast for other people.
I didn't realize I was good at AI until one of my entrepreneurial friends, he's a food influencer. He's basically the lettuce wrap guy on social media.
Oh, that's fun. Lettuce wrap guy. I'll check him out.
Dude, you're really good at systems and AI. And I go, I think I suck because I watch guys like Dan Martell and a bunch of all the guys that are just automating basically 97% of their business. But like I'm a big like, it has to have a purpose into my business for me to use it. And I haven't found, because my next like hyper focus is going to be agents, like the agentic stuff where they're going out. Like for you, like basically you probably, which model do you use? Do you use Claude? Is that the main one that you use?
So I'm still pretty heavy on ChatGPT. I've recently switched over to Claude because I do like it quite a bit more. I went through something called like Perplexity, I think, and it.
Yeah, Perplexity is good.
Yeah, Perplexity. So it's got like 5 or 6 different ones. So I imported all of because I've been on ChatGPT since it was like brand new. What was it, like 2-3 years ago? I think maybe even.
Yeah, I've been on GPT, but like I had GPT trained in every nuance of me and stuff. But I'm just like, but the problem with GPT is it's only trained on about 100,000 records. Gemini is probably the best for like overall data perspective because I think they have about 2 million records, and then Claude's just a better writer and better understanding.
I feel like Claude learns faster, and like I went in there, like I took some class once where you can like change the settings to where it doesn't like you don't want it to be your hype man. You don't want it to just agree with you. You want it to like challenge some of your thoughts and ideas so that you can learn and grow.
Sometimes that dude is just pissing me off though.
Right. Right. Like, because I want it to be challenged. I'm like, no, don't tell me I'm right. Don't tell me this is a good idea. I want you to question my thought process so that we can work the problem. Like,
yeah, it's the what personal preferences do you want them to reflect in? So I basically, once I discovered, have you ever told the models to write a system prompt?
no.
A system prompt will literally write the perfect prompt for you. Just tell it exactly like what you're looking for and what problem you want to solve, and it'll literally, dude, it's insane.
No, you are good at this. Like I said, I just use it for little mundane tasks for the most part. Like, or sometimes like, you know, with the ADHD stuff, like you have so much going on that you're not really sure where to start. So I'll just turn on the microphone and just brain dump everything that's going on in my head, and then be like, okay, where should I start? Like, what's step one after all of this? And I'll talk for like 20 minutes straight on this thing.
So let me just, I don't know if we want to go on the rabbit hole, but I kind of love it. So let me share my screen. And so what's funny is I was working with a political candidate, and I showed them research about all their political opponents, like everything. And they were like, these guys are like in their 60s, so they're just not with it at all. And it was crazy. Like, just, I'm almost was like fishing for the reaction of them going, holy shit.
Yeah.
Give me a problem in your business or anything. Like, we can just.
All right, let's see here. So right now it's tracking where the leads come from to make sure that I'm following up the proper way and through the proper channels. Because I'm pretty good at getting leads, but I don't always know where they come from.
All right, watch this. This is crazy. Like, the system prompt will literally write the perfect, like, it'll give you. I learned this from Dan Martell. So
okay, Dan Martell's a smart dude. I've heard him speak live before. He's a good dude.
So I was actually in Dan Martell's fitness program. My wife and I both were. What's funny about what he did is he was at the gym one day and he was not progressing at all. Goes up to this personal trainer. He didn't realize he was a personal trainer, and he owned his own gym, but he's a bodybuilder too. He literally goes and like, how do I look like you? His name is Alan Dick. It's spelled Diyck. That program, I lost 14 pounds in 14 days because I did a cleanse, and then I did a bunch of other stuff. But just for example, so here's the system prompt. So it basically gives you a role, core principle, and it gives you all the channel taxonomy of like where you potentially get your leads from.
Okay.
And it gives you the tracking mechanics of how to actually capture the sources and stuff. And so basically it's how to do everything.
This is so in depth. This was Claude?
Yep. So you can do this with ChatGPT, but it's just asking about system prompts where it's like, it basically gives it the who, what, wow, what, and how. And basically it'll tell, so you have like first touch, last touch. So like,
yeah.
Your deal sources like Zillow listings and stuff, repeat leads, like CRM fields, like reporting cadence, like weekly, monthly, quarterly, and then you got data hygiene rules. Basically, like it gives you everything.
This is phenomenal, dude. Yeah, so I could. Oh man, no. Look, I'm so glad I got this recorded because I'm gonna like totally just look through all of this and replicate it.
Like system prompts changed how I actually prompt AI, and like you should like. Your kids would probably love this stuff too, because it'd be like, I want to write a paper. I want help writing a paper, but I don't want it so it's discoverable by my teachers. And it'll basically give you your prompt of how to actually. Kids, I don't recommend using AI.
No, I don't care, man, because I don't agree with the current school system. And so I'm like, no, like use the tools that are available to you. Like imagine if they leaned into it and let all the kids have AI and just let their minds run wild, right? Like let's try to solve world hunger today. Let's try to do this. Like why not just let them go crazy and, you know, work collectively together to better humanity, man? Like
solve bigger problems. I think I think the problems that we try to solve in school are too small. It's like
They are. Honestly, spelling doesn't matter. Math doesn't matter. Like AI does all of that shit now. Like think bigger.
if I was a teacher in like a very progressive school, I would literally upload my voice into 11 Labs. I would literally have upload video of myself and then figure out how my students actually learn individually and then have AI generate catered lesson plans to how each student learns. Like I had this business idea to do like a virtual homeschooling where it uses AI to actually, but like I looked into everything and like that's a whole different, I'd have to like partner with a bunch of teachers and stuff. And I don't know if that would, but imagine like as an ADHDer, you could literally learn for 4 hours. The lesson plan is catered to actually exactly how you learn and like how, if you're a visual learner, there'll be more graphs and stuff and like visuals. And it's like, if you're more analytical, there's more problem solving. It's like, and then as you go through the lesson plans, the AI will keep learning how you learn and get better at teaching you. And I think that's the future of education is literally teachers are be more directional. And that's kind of what we all are going to become is more directors. Like we're going to basically tell AI to go do stuff.
Because we all learn differently, right? But one of my favorite quotes is if you judged a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it would feel that its whole life it was a failure or, an idiot. It's like with all of us, we all have our own strengths. We all learn things a little bit differently. And so I love that idea of like, using AI to understand the strength of the child or the individual and how they learn and how they need to be, spoken to, right? Like we even have little, what is it, the 7 levels of communication, the personality trait quizzes, like we all just take in information in different ways. And so once you figure out the best way to do it, like, yeah, it should be individualized to the person. But yeah, who that's the real question though, right? Like who's going to start that?
Because the school system is just, there's just so much red tape that you'd have to go through to basically like get licensed and stuff. And it's like, I think I'm always solving problems that I wish solved. Like I solved as a kid for myself, like the school thing, like being able to like learn in the way that I want to learn, like talk to people that are homeschooled. And it's like, I mean, the social component is the only kind of bottleneck, I think, for like homeschooling and stuff.
But I think again, with social media, with the internet now, like I think even that part of it can change or is starting to change, right? Because I do have a few friends who homeschool their kids and I asked them about that. I'm like, well, what do you do about like the social component and that sort of thing? And they're like, there's Facebook groups where like all the homeschool kids like meet up and hang out and they do activities or they play sports or, so I think, there is some of that bridging of the gap is starting to happen. But it's going to take just, I think, more years.
Well, it's going to be amazing. What's kind of crazy to think about, you and I and like all of us entrepreneurs that are very up on like tech, we're in like the 1% like in the know with using AI. Like if you go ask most people, they're still asking ChatGPT, like Google, like how do I like cook an egg or something? And it's like, we're already like, I think most of us, I don't know if you feel this way too. I feel like I'm behind with AI because the people I'm like surrounded by that it's like my buddy that basically sells a cookbook, the food influencer, he basically has Claude integrated into his system where he has a text chain with Claude. And it's like, what if we made changes to this and then Claude will go out, no, actually, that's not the right decision. Like it's actually like helping him make business decisions and stuff. And it's just like,
but I think that just means you're surrounding yourself with the right people, because if you felt smarter than all your other friends and you feel like you need new friends. Like you should have individuals that are challenging you to try to get a little bit better. So that just means you're doing the right thing right now, man.
I'm excited to see like where Hexeh goes and like just with everything that like I keep telling my wife, I go, the next 10 years are going to be insanely amazing just because of all the work that we put in. I found somebody that's ambitious or more ambitious than me. Like she's a physician assistant, so she's basically a doctor, and she's in the military.
Oh shit, she's a badass.
She's amazing. Like it's cool. Talk about like somebody pushing you to be better. It's like, no, I need to be better. So I don't want to keep up with her, but it's like, it's the healthy competition.
That's beautiful, man. No, honestly, that's what everyone I think should look for in a partner, right? Like it's, I describe it as like, you ever heard of like the Tough Mudder or those like mud races where, they're like a bunch of obstacles you have to do. I feel like honestly, that's what kind of marriage should be like, right? Like, maybe you've got something that you're good at, or there's this one where you have to run up a quarter pipe, right? Like, so I can run up the quarter pipe, but my wife couldn't do it. So I'm there to pull her up. And then there's another part where we have to swim. I suck at swimming, so she kind of has to drag me along, right? And so that's kind of what marriage I think should be like, is where you're both constantly working towards the same goal, but you're challenging each other as you go. And there'll be times when she might need to carry you, and there'll be times when you have to carry her. And as long as you're constantly doing that together, that's how you progress in life.
It's literally comes down to what's the goal of the family? Like, what is your goal collectively? And like, I think my biggest advice for marriage is marry your best friend. Like, that's literally like, you're not going to like your best. You don't like your best friend sometimes. Like it's just the nature of spending so much time with somebody. Like but it's like, I'm choosing to do this with you. I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. If you don't feel that way about your significant other, then don't get married. Like for real. Like
for real. Yeah.
Like, and what's crazy is like you and your spouse, you're not the same people. Like you even change on a weekly basis. Like we've gone through so much stuff, just like, and I'm like, this dad thing, I don't want to master it, but the ADHD in me is like, I'm going to master being a dad. And it's like, that's golf and being a dad are being probably two things that you'll never master.
It's that constant striving towards just getting a little bit better each day. And it's knowing that you're never going to hit perfection. Like I think to me, that's what's the most exciting thing about life, is knowing that I don't ever want to plateau. Like it's just like, yeah, I can do a little bit better every single day. So
1%, you got to be 1% better every day. 1% is not bad.
Right? Just 1% every day. And then you let compound interest do its magic.
Oh yeah. You got the biggest like financial term that people don't want to listen to because it's boring.
I know, right?
Compound interest is literally how everything, like, I use Warren Buffett as an example, like for compounding. He literally made most of his wealth at 65 because of compound interest.
It's the eighth wonder of the world, man. What was it, the whole like double a penny every single day? Like it's that right there. Like once you understand that type of math, like it's like, oh shit, like and to me, real estate is a great gateway into that, but we're running out of time here to get into all that stuff. Mitchell, dude, absolute genuine pleasure chatting with you today, learning about your game, Hexeh, hexegame.com, right?
Yep. It's HEXEH. So basically it's a palindrome backwards.com. Our game, hexegame.com. Thank you so much for like having me on, and like it's amazing. Like Threads is such a beautiful thing. Like I keep saying it's one of the best social media platforms out there. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Like we could probably do another 3 episodes just sit here and talk.
Seriously, just an absolute pleasure getting to know you better, learning about your business. Your mindset, I think, is probably one of my most favorite thing. Like, because there needs to be more people with that. Like things happen. Bad things are going to happen in life. Good things are going to happen, but everything is a learning experience. And you are where you are today because of everything that's already happened. And you have nothing but hope for the future, knowing that it's just going to get better because you refuse to give up on yourself and you believe in yourself. So thank you for coming on the show today, brother.